සංසාර සාරෝග විනීතනිසං සන්නේත සාතං සුචිසාරදේශම් සන්දේරකං සොන්න තනුපලාසං සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ විසාසං සංසාවිගං කේවල මෝහනාසං සන්නාහ කන්මාර රනේ විශේෂම් සංසේවිතං දාසි මුදාරහාසම් සංහාර ධම්මං පනමේ සදාසම් සන්දාස ගන්නාසිත පාපනාසං සන්නාපදන්සින් හතගෝර පාසං සම්පාරගාමින් සුචිසාරවාසං සංවාර සංඝං පනමේ රසාසං නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස සතිපට්ඨානං වෝ භික්ඛවේ දේසිස්සාමි සතිපට්ඨාන භාවනංච සතිපට්ඨාන භාවනා ගාමිනී පටිපදංච. Venerable sirs, nuns, friends in Dhamma, today we are going to start our Usgoda Dhamma sermon conducted by the Sirisampanno Monastery in Germany. First of all, I would like to appreciate your dedication for the Dhamma and practice. As Buddha's disciples, we always respect the monastic code explained by the Supreme Buddha. Following the monastic code explained by the Blessed One, we usually get together and we discuss Dhamma and also we listening to Dhamma. That is very important. As Buddha mentioned, from the beginning to end on the path of liberation, we should fulfill four things, four facts. They are associating with the good friends, Dhamma friends, listening to Dhamma, wise reflection and practice. Sappurisa sansevo, saddhamma savanang, yonisocha manasikaro, dhammanudhamma patipatti. These four things we should fulfill from the beginning to end on the path of liberation. That is very important. I think you have heard these four things. Sappurisa sanseva, saddhamma savana, yonisocha manasikara, and dhammanudhamma patipatti. Associating with the Dhamma friends, listening to Dhamma, wise reflection and practice. When we are going to practice the Buddha's message, the very first thing is we should have correct vision, right understanding, sammaditthi. What we practice, why we practice Dhamma, where we are going to, the destination. We should have clear understanding about the path. That is very important. Why do we need to practice this Dhamma? In order to achieve the real happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. Happiness completely depends on purification of our mind. There are three unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind. They are lobha or craving, dosa, anger, and moha, ignorance or delusion. These are the negativities that disturb our peace of mind. When we listen to Dhamma, when we practice Dhamma, we cleanse our mind from these negatives. The more we listen to Dhamma and the more we practice Dhamma, the more we purify our mind from these three unwholesome mental states: craving, anger, and delusion. Buddha says at the very beginning, we should cleanse our mind from anger. Anger is one of the main causes that disturbs our peace of mind. Therefore, on the very beginning of the path of liberation, Buddha advises us to practice loving kindness meditation, contemplating on thus, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. In our day-to-day activities, when we walk, when we work, when we eat, when we speak, everywhere, from morning to night, we can practice, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. As the result of practicing loving kindness meditation, our heart is very warm. Our speech is very correct and kind because of our loving kindness meditation, Metta Bhavana. When we practice Metta Bhavana in a particular posture, we contemplate on, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. That belongs to Metta Sagata Manokamma. Our mental activities consist with loving kindness. Not only that, when we speak something, our speech consists with loving kindness meditation. Metta Sagata Vachikamma. When we speak with someone, we speak everything mindfully with loving kindness thoughts. Not only that, we practice Metta Sagata Kaya Kamma. When we do something physically, we do our all activities physically with loving kindness thoughts. That is the way how we practice loving kindness or Metta Bhavana in our day-to-day life. It means we are very peaceful. Our mind is very calm since we have no anger at that moment. Whenever we are angry, we have no real happiness in our life. That is why we always keep our mind with metta thoughts. That is very important. The Buddha says, let's live happily without anger among who are angry. Susukangvata jivama verinesu averino, verinesu manussesu viharama averino. Let's live happily without anger among those who are angry. In our society, a lot of people get angry very soon. Among them, we control our anger by practicing Metta Bhavana. Therefore, Buddha says, Buddha advises us to practice loving kindness meditation as much as we can. In our four postures, when we walk, when we stand, when we sit, when we lie down, all the postures, we can practice metta bhavana in our day-to-day life. Especially when we work in our day-to-day activities. There we can practice, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May you be well, happy and peaceful. May all your wishes meet with success. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May all your spiritual and educational goals meet with success. As the result of this practice, we can understand, we can see the peace of mind. Day by day, we can see the progress of our mental situation. Since day by day, we purify our mind from anger. As the result of this practice, we are proud of that no one can make me angry. If a person can make us angry very soon, are we successful? No, we are not successful. Therefore, we should be proud of that. You can't make me angry. No one can make me angry. That is our skill. That is our great point average in Buddhism. No one can make me angry. That is our success. That is our skill. That is our proficiency. For that, in our day-to-day life, in our activities, we can practice loving kindness meditation. Not only that, in our day-to-day activities, we can practice the contemplation of the qualities of the Buddha. Buddha Anusati Bhavana. The Buddha's noble qualities. Itipiso Bhagava Arahang. Such indeed the exalted one, worthy. Samma Sambuddho, supremely enlightened. Vijjacharana Sampanno, endowed with knowledge and conduct. Sugato, well gone. Lokavidu, knower of the world. Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati, incomparable trainer of persons to be tamed. Sattha Deva Manusanam, the supreme teacher of deities and men. Buddha, enlightened, and Bhagava, exalted. These are the qualities of the Buddha that we can contemplate on in our day-to-day activities. In a particular posture, in the sitting posture, we can practice Buddha Anusati, closing our eyes. But not only that, when we work something, opening our eyes, we can practice Buddha Anusati Bhavana. These meditation techniques are very important in our day-to-day life. And here today, especially, I hope to discuss mindfulness in Buddhism based on Vibhanga Sutta, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya. In Sutta Pitaka, there is a very special book which is Samyutta Nikaya. There we can see in Satipatthana Samyutta, very special discourse named Vibhanga Sutta. In Vibhanga Sutta, Buddha says, Satipatthānaṁ vo bhikkhave desissāmi satipatthāna bhavananca satipatthāna bhavanāgamini patipadanca. O monks, I will explain you mindfulness meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. When we discuss mindfulness in Buddhism, we should understand these 3 steps. What they are? Mindfulness meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. Satipatthana, mindfulness. Satipatthana Bhavana, mindfulness meditation, and Satipatthana Bhavana Gamini Patipada, which is the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. Here we should understand what they are. Mindfulness means keeping our attention in the present moment with our physical body, feelings, consciousness or mind, and mental formations. We keep our attention in the present moment. We contemplate on our physical body, our feelings, mind, and mental formation. That belongs to mindfulness. And the second one, mindfulness meditation. It based on Vipassana Bhavana. The very first one based on Samatha Bhavana, or tranquility meditation, or concentration meditation. And Satipatthana Bhavana is based on Vipassana Bhavana. What is that? First we keep our attention in our physical body, then we reflect on how this physical body arises and ceases, or causality. This physical body is the result of the food or nutriments that we take in our day-to-day life. As the result of having food or nutriment, we receive this physical body. As the result of the cessation of food, this body also gradually ceases. That is the way how we contemplate on the causality of the arising and ceasing of our physical body. That belongs to Satipatthana Bhavana. It is Vipassana Bhavana. Not only physical body, but we contemplate on feelings. We receive painful and peaceful, pleasant feelings through our senses. Those feelings arise at the moment with the conditions. As the result of contact, feelings arise. As the result of the cessation of contact, the feelings also cease gradually. That is the way how we contemplate on the causality or arising and ceasing of our feelings. That belongs to Vipassana Bhavana. And also we contemplate on mind. When we concentrate our mind in the present moment, we are aware of our mind. What happens to my mind at this moment? Whether my mind is angry or not angry. Whether my mind is lustful or not lustful. Whether my mind is ignorant or not ignorant. Whether my mind is liberated or not liberated. Whether my mind is concentrated or not concentrated. This is the way how we contemplate on the awareness of our consciousness or mind. When we focus on our mind, we reflect on arising and ceasing of our mind. Even though we have a mind, that mind is not permanent. It arises and ceases every moment. With the conditions, mind arises. When conditions cease, mind also ceases every moment. The previous mind or consciousness doesn't come to the present. The present mind will not go to future from the present. Every moment it arises and ceases. But the previous mind influences the present mind. The present mind influences the next thought or next mind or consciousness, but it is impermanent. We see the causality or arising and ceasing of our mind every moment. Not only that, we contemplate on mental formations by practicing Dhammanupassana. Every moment, mental formations arise and also they cease every moment. These are the ways, these are the techniques that we practice mindfulness in our day-to-day life. Mindfulness in Buddhism is divided into four. Kayanupassana, the contemplation of our body. Vedanupassana, the contemplation of feelings. Chittanupassana, the contemplation of mind. Dhammanupassana, the contemplation of mental formations. These are the four areas that we contemplate on mindfulness. Here, this is the way how we practice mindfulness meditation. And the third one is Satipatthana Bhavanagamini Patipada, the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. What is that? That is the Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Arthangika Magga. Right understanding, Sammaditthi, right intention, Samma Sankappa, right speech, Samma Vacha, right action, Samma Kammanta, right livelihood, Samma Ajiva, right effort, Samma Vayama, right mindfulness, Samma Sati, and right concentration, Samma Samadhi. These are the Noble Eightfold Path. Here, in this level, it is very important how we gain the right understanding of Sammaditthi. Sammaditthi is very, very important. Before we start our spiritual journey or practice, especially we should understand the nature of our life. What is the nature of our life? We experience the world through our six senses, through our eye, through our nose, through our ear, through our tongue, through our body, and through our mind. These are the senses or spheres that we use to contact the world. We should understand the clear understanding how these senses or spheres arise and they cease. How do they work? When we see something, according to our present mental situation, we always create the I. I means not just the physical eye, but the ability to listen, the ability to see. That I, or chakku, in Buddhism, arises at the moment. Ahutva sambhutang hutva nabhavisyati. That the nature of the I is that it is impermanent. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. The present I, or the ability of seeing, arises at the moment according to our present mental situation. According to the mental situation, we create the I. According to our I, we see the world. But the ordinary people think that we see the world according to the outside material world. Actually, it is not the truth. What is the reality? We experience the world through our senses. When our senses are very rich, we experience the world in rich. If our senses are very weak, our world is very poor. We create the world according to our senses. We create the senses according to our present mental situation. What is the present mental situation? The mental situation is that kamma, avidya, ahara, ignorance. These are the things that decide our mental situation and our senses. According to our karmic energy, according to our ignorance, according to our wisdom, we create the senses. According to our senses, we experience the world. And also we can contact something through our senses. The very first experience belongs to the vipaka level or result level. We can catch some color. We can catch some sounds through our ears. We can catch some smell through our nose. We can catch some taste through our tongue in the present moment. But when we understand it, we understand everything through our mind consciousness. When we understand something through our mind consciousness, the very first experience has already ceased. You can contact me through your eyes. You can see me through our eyes. But you are unable to recognize me through your eyes. You recognize me through your mind consciousness. When you recognize me through your mind consciousness, the very first experience, your eyes, form or color, eye consciousness, eye contact, all the things that belongs to the vipaka level or result level has already ceased. If we have this understanding, and also if we are mindful and wise at the present moment, as soon as we see something, we understand, now I recognize something through my mind consciousness, and also the present experience has already ceased. If we have this understanding, our mind is not fixed in the outside material world. If we are mindful at the present moment. Even though we have this understanding, if we are not mindful at the present moment, we are ignorant. We immediately look at outside world and our mind is fixed in the material world. If our mind is fixed, if our mind depends on the material world, what happens to us? The outside material world can control us since we depend on the material world, external world. This is the way how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. If we have this understanding and also if we are mindful at the present moment, as soon as we see something, we hear something, we taste something, we smell something, we feel something, we immediately understand the very first experience has ceased. I understand everything through my mind consciousness. As the result of this practice, we are away from suffering since we are not controlled by the outside material world. This is the understanding, this is the vision. Vision is first, then mission. Vision is samadhi or the way how suffering arises and ceases. Mission is the mindfulness or satipatthana. In our day-to-day activities, when we do something every day, we can practice mindfulness. According to Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the great discourse of mindfulness which comes in Digha Nikaya, our all activities, physical and mental activities, we do based on mindfulness. When we do something physically and verbally, we are aware of that. Now I am doing these activities. Since we live in the present moment. If we want to see the beauty of our life, if we want to experience the beauty of our mind, we should practice mindfulness. The more we practice mindfulness, the more we see the beauty of our life, since we have purified our mind at this moment, and also we see the reality at this moment, since we are living mindfully and wisely. When you see me, if you know that this color has already ceased, I recognize this person through my mind consciousness, then you look at your inside. For an example, when you eat something, having something in your plate, when you eat something, when you taste something, immediately you look at the plate. When you taste something, you think that I am tasting something which is in the plate. Is it true? No, it is not true. If you taste something at this moment, that food is in your mouth. That food was in your plate. Now, that food is in your mouth. But always we look at the plate. When we eat something, when we taste something, we immediately look at the food which is in the plate because of our ignorance. That is why we have desire for food. If we know that when we taste something, the food is in our mouth, that food is beautiful, that food is very good smell? No. If we know that this food is in my mouth, that I am tasting, we have no attachment. We have no craving. We have no desire. Without attachment, we can eat something. We can taste something. But we have no craving or attachment to the food. Since we are wise, we are mindful. As soon as we taste something, we immediately look at the food which is in the mouth with our vision. Like that, when you see something, when you taste something, when you smell something, when you hear something, when you feel something through your physical body, if you know that now I recognize these feelings through my mind consciousness, and also the very first experience has already ceased, we can recognize something, we can enjoy with something, but we have no craving, lust or attachment. For that, first we should have vision. Vision is first. That is why Buddha says, Sammaditthi Purejavam. Right understanding is first. That is front. Always we should have this vision. Correct vision. Sammaditthi. How suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Whenever we have this understanding, we don't depend on the outside material world or persons. It means whenever we have this understanding, we don't depend on the outside material world or persons. It means we are away from suffering. Whenever we have know this understanding, what happens to us? We are ignorant. as the result of ignorance. As soon as we see something, our mind is fixed in the outside material world, and also immediately we are controlled by the outside material world of persons. With this understanding, we come to the practice. First, we have this correct vision through listening to Dhamma, and also immediately we trust in this message uttered by the Blessed One. And also we come to practice. What is practice? What is practice? Mindfulness. Mindfulness. Being aware of our body and mind. We are aware of our body and mind every moment. When you work, when you eat, when you walk, when we speak with someone, everywhere we practice mindfulness. We protect our mind with mindfulness. Mind with awareness is mindfulness. Whenever we are mindful, that mindfulness is our best friend. Whenever we are mindful, we are near the Buddha. We have a protection. Buddha says, dwell with yourself as an island, as a refuge, with other no refuge. What is the refuge? The refuge is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the real protection, refuge that we can make in our life. Whenever we are mindful, we are near the Buddha. Buddha is our spiritual father, his spiritual mother. You know, when we are near our parents, we have a protection, isn't it? We have no fear, no doubt, since they take care of us. Even though Buddha has passed away, even though Reverend Sariputta, Moggallana have passed away, whenever we are mindful, they are living with us. We are near the Buddha. We are near the Arahant Sariputta. We are near the Arahant Moggallana whenever we are mindful. Therefore, please protect your mindfulness. Whenever we are mindful, nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. No one can disturb you without your permission. No one can make you angry, lustful, or ignorant without your permission. What is the permission that you give to others for disturbing for you? Unmindfulness. Whenever we are unmindful, whenever we are not mindful, others can disturb our peace of mind. Therefore, we should understand, without my permission, nobody can disturb me. If we are not mindful, it means we give the permission to others for disturbing our mind. Therefore, please protect your mindfulness like a gem, like a child. That is our real protection. Please don't go away from mindfulness even 1 second. We have to practice only one thing, which is mindfulness. For that, Buddha has explained very special meditation technique, which is Anapanasati or breathing meditation. Keeping our attention in the present moment, When we breathe in, we are aware of that now I am breathing in. When we breathe out, we know that now I am breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. We are aware of our very natural breathing in and out, keeping our attention in the present moment. Little by little we go forward. When our breathing long, we understand that now I am breathing in long. When we breathe in short, we recognize it. And Sambhakaya Patisangvedi, we recognize entire breathing in and out. We recognize the calming of our entire breathing in and out. So on. Finally, we go to the end. Anicca-anupassī viharatyasa sameti sikkati. We are aware of that. Now I am breathing in, reflecting on impermanence. Every moment, my body and mind, or the five aggregates, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, form, feeling, perception, consciousness, and mental formations. These five things arise together with the conditions and they cease without remaining anything. When we see something, when we hear something, when we taste something, when we smell something, when we feel something, it means these five aggregates arise and cease. They arise and cease. Keeping our attention in the present moment with breathing in and out, we contemplate on this reality, anicca or impermanence. As the result of this practice, we release from the outside material world. At the same time, we release from our inside our mind and mental formations. Everything arises and ceases at the moment. Without remaining anything, they cease every moment. My entire life is the present moment. In short, my all experience is that mind and mental formations. Since the material world has already ceased. This is the way how we practice mindfulness. Especially, how do we practice Dhamma when we work in our day-to-day life? When we work, always we know that you work in your monastery. At that moment, you can practice loving-kindness meditation in one side. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. On the other side, we can practice mindfulness. Being aware of our body, and when we see something, we immediately understand this form has already ceased. I recognize everything through my mind consciousness. Therefore, here we can practice Dhamma speedily. Especially when we see the impermanence of our mind at this moment, when we see the impermanence of the material world, it means we practice Vipassana Bhavana or insight meditation. Insight meditation is the direct way how we overcome ignorance or delusion, avidya. When we overcome ignorance or delusion, it means if we know that the material world has already ceased, we have nothing to attach or get angry. Since we know very well I experience the empty world. Empty means in first experience we catch the material world, but when we recognize it, we recognize everything through my mind consciousness. With this understanding, we can overcome ignorance. The more we overcome ignorance, immediately attachment or lust or craving, anger or ill will go away. We don't have an effort to overcome lust and anger when we practice insight meditation or vipassana bhavana. We have to do only thing which is developing our wisdom and mindfulness. In this discourse, which is Vibhanga Sutta, I hope to explain you mindfulness meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness means we keep our attention in the present moment based on our breathing in and out of four fundamental elements: Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. My physical body consists with these four things: earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. These are the things which consist with my physical body. Keeping our attention here, we concentrate our mind in the present moment. When mind gains concentration, we reflect on impermanence. Especially in mindfulness, we have a very special meditation technique which is Anapanasati Bhavana, mindful breathing. Mindful breathing is highly appreciated by the Blessed One, the Supreme Buddha. Finally, we should understand our success depends on our happiness. Our happiness completely depends on the duration of practicing breathing meditation, mindful breathing. Therefore, please give the priority to practice breathing meditation in your day-to-day life. The most valuable moment in our life is that whenever we practice mindful breathing. That is a very pleasant meditation technique explained by the Supreme Buddha. But we should practice it with that intention, with that understanding. What is the understanding? How suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Whenever we are ignorant, we depend on the outside material world. Since we don't know, already the material world has ceased. Whenever we are wise and mindful, we know very well the material world has already ceased at this moment. I recognize everything through my mind consciousness. Such as soon as we eat something, even though we look at the plate, we understand the food that now I am tasting is in my mouth. That food which is in the mouth is not beautiful. It is not good to smell. It is so ugly. It is so impure. We can taste with the food which is in the mouth, but we have no attachment to the food which is in the mouth since we know the reality. Like that, we can recognize something through our eyes. Eye is not the problem. Forms are not the problem. What is the problem? What is the cause of suffering? Ignorance, delusion, avidya, moha. What is ignorance? What is avidya? Avidya means we don't know that now the material world has ceased. That is ignorance. What is the wisdom? Wisdom means we know very well now the material world has ceased. We can respond to someone. We can enjoy with something without defilements, without negative thoughts. Our mind is so pure and calm at this moment since we are mindful and wise. We can respond anyone, anything. We can associate with anyone without craving, without anger, without delusion, whenever we are mindful and wise. This is the way how we can practice Dhamma in our day-to-day life. This is the thing I wanted to explain in this sermon: mindfulness, mindfulness meditation, and the path that leads to mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness means keeping our attention in our physical body, feelings, mind, and mental formations. Mindfulness meditation means reflecting on impermanence, understanding the arising and ceasing of our physical body, feelings, mind, and mental formations. What is the path that leads to mindfulness meditation? The Noble Eightfold Path with right understanding. We should have clear understanding, correct vision, how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. Always we should keep this understanding in front before our practice. We have this understanding in our mind through listening to this message that belongs to Suttamaya Panya, the wisdom of hearing. And then Chintamaya Panya, the wisdom of contemplating on it again and again. And Bhavanamaya Panya, the wisdom of meditation. Practicing Samatha and Vipassana. Practicing concentration and insight meditation based on mindfulness. Have you any question?
Bhante, the mental formation, is this the idea or thinking, feeling, and everything is in the mind? By mental formation, sometimes I think this is what the mind creates.
Mental formations are divided into two. One of them is wholesome mental formations or kusala chetana. The other one is akusala chetana, unwholesome mental states. But always we can see very special mental formations. Whenever mind arises, there are 7 mental formations arise immediately. They are said as Sabba Chitta Sadharana Chaittasika, which are the universal mental formations. Passa, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Manasikara, Ekaggata, Jivitindriya. Passa or contact, Vedana feeling, Chetana, again mental formations means Sanya perception, Ekaggata so on. There are 7 factors we can see in the first level. And also there are other mental formations we can see as Pakinnaka in Pali language. They arise according to our vision. Whenever our vision is correct and whenever our mind is pure, those mental formations come according to our mental situation. There are other mental formations we can see, beautiful mental formations. They are directly wholesome mental formations, such as Saddha, confidence, Sati, mindfulness, Hiri, moral fear, Ottappa, moral shame, adosa, metta, alobha, non-greed. These are the positive mental formations. They are wholesome mental formations. They are sobana chetasika, beautiful mental formations. There are 52 mental formations. According to our mind, these mental formations arise. Sometimes 30, sometimes 40, sometimes 42, so on. According to our mind, these mental formations arise. The main thing is we should keep our mind pure and calm. With this understanding, if we keep our mind pure and calm with mindfulness, automatically the beautiful mental formations follow it. Especially among those 52 mental formations, what is the most valuable mental formations? Panya, wisdom. Wisdom is the most valuable, most powerful mental formations. Where the wisdom works very well. Whenever we practice the Noble Eightfold Path, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vaca, so on, there is the place where we fulfill wisdom in the highest level. In short, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue, concentration, and wisdom. In another way, 5 spiritual faculties, Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. Therefore, as a wise person, finally we have to develop our wisdom. Wisdom always consists with mindfulness. Mindfulness and wisdom. Mindfulness means keeping our attention in the present moment with our body, feelings, mind, and mental formations. That is mindfulness. What is the wisdom? Wisdom means reflecting on impermanence, arising and ceasing of these 4 things, or 5 aggregates, or mind and body. Mind is not alone. Whenever mind works, mental formations are with it. Mind and mental formations are not divided. They are together. When we drink a tea or coffee, we can separate coffee and water. You know, when you drink a coffee and water is not divided. They are together. Our mind and mental formations are together. By listening to Dhamma, by practicing mindfulness, by practicing impermanence, we separate them through our wisdom, through our mind. In the physical world, we are unable to separate them. Why do we need to separate them mentally? Our desire or craving arises based on these 5 things, 5 aggregates. But we don't see the 5 aggregates. We see a person, we see a sound, we experience some smell, taste, so on. We experience something, But in the down level, these 5 things work. By listening to Dhamma, by reflecting on impermanence, we separate these 5 things one by one. As the result of dividing these 5 things, we understand the world. When we understand the world, automatically our ignorance goes away. Our ignorance gradually reduces. As the result of reducing delusion or ignorance, we have nothing to attach or get angry. Then we are very calm. We are very peaceful. We are in neutral. We are in upekkha, equanimity. The final experience, the final result is that equanimity, upekkha. When we see the reality, we know we have nothing to attach or get angry. Every moment, everything arises and ceases. We can't control anything. We need to do only thing accepting this reality. When we accept it, immediately we come to the equanimity or balanced mind. We calm down. That is the highest result of practicing Dhamma. Okay, for that I wish you all the best. By the power of listening to this Dhamma, may all your spiritual and educational goals meet with success. May you live long with good health. Finally, may all of us attain the supreme bliss of liberation by the power of this listening to Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkam pantaca niddukkam, bhayam pantaca nidbhayam, sokam pantaca nissokam, hontu sambe pipanino. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of liberation, enlightenment, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.